To carry on the conversation with a writer, Mark Blutman. He's been a member of the Writers Guild since 1991. He's written for such hit shows as Boy Meets World and its spin-off, which is Girl Meets World. He has been on the picket lines, and he's taking the time out tonight to join us live. Mark, thank you so much. Let's start with the state of negotiations. Are there active conversations happening? Is anyone at the table?
To my knowledge, no. We walked away Monday. Both parties walked away from each other a few hours before the deadline. If there are talks going on, we're not aware. But we were very surprised when we heard how far apart we are. And surprise quickly gave way to anger and contempt for the other side. You know, the little I know about negotiations is two parties need to come to a table and be willing to give and take and come up with fair solutions. And there were several issues where the response to our ask was rejected, no counteroffer. To me, that's not much of a negotiation. So there's a lot of anger. There is absolutely a lot of anger from, you know, writers of all ages. I mean, just, you know, we're looking at,
right.
For us, it's very important that this new generation could come into our business and find themselves in a career that's sustainable, that they can make a living, especially in a city like LA with such a high cost of living.
Yeah.
And right now, the studios and specifically a lot of the streaming entities, they're looking at cutting corners in the writer's room. That's, you know, they're trying to make us disposable. And for these young writers, I feel horrible. I mentor a lot of young writers, and they are not right now on the path we are on. They're not going to be able to have what so many of us have, which is a strong pension. You know, I'm nearing 65. I've worked for 33 years in this amazing union. I have this great pension, health, all that stuff. These young writers coming in with incredible stories to tell, incredible ideas, they're not being heard. They're not being offered a seat at the table.
Yeah, well, you mentioned how far apart the sides are. We want to put some numbers up on the screen. Apparently, the WGA is asking for $429 million. The studios are at $86 million. That is not close at all. We're looking at some of the issues. We're talking about staffing minimums, duration of employment, artificial intelligence, viewership-based streaming residuals. How do you get to the middle on that? And what is sort of the big issue that is sort of the, we're not going to move on this one, this is the thing that's most important to us?
What we're looking at, especially in listening to, you know, the emerging writers, the younger members of our guild, is that they're not able to make a living. They are scrambling. They're taking part-time jobs. It's like the game has become musical chairs, and every year it seems another chair is pulled away from the table, and more writers are competing for those seats. So what's happening now, the big thing for us is the streamers started this concept of mini rooms. And so it used to be in television, the norm was you shoot a pilot, you send those pilots out to be tested, and the ones that test well get an order of, you know, 13 or 22 or 26 episodes. So now they've come up with this concept of mini rooms where they have the showrunner say they tell them to hire maybe, you know, 4 to 6 writers and write 6 scripts, 4 scripts, whatever. Look at those scripts. If they like them, they'll order the show to series. But what they do is they've got most of the writers not on episodic contracts, but on weeklies, and they terminate most of the contracts. So they'll go into production, and the showrunner and maybe one other high-level writer will be retained to run set, do post-production, all that stuff, and all these young writers are being terminated, out of work, and the biggest issue is they're not being taught the steps so they can develop into the next generation of showrunners. I was afforded this incredible luxury when I started. I worked with this legend, Bernie Ornstein, and he took me around. I was a new writer. He took me to editing. He took me to casting. He literally led me by the hand. So within 3-4 years, I was running a show. These writers, they're sitting there for 10 weeks, and then some of them don't work again for 2-3 years.
Well,
it's really broken.
We can certainly hear your frustrations, all of your concerns, the anger that's there as well. So we'll obviously continue to follow this. Hopefully we can have you back to get more of your perspective, as it seems. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope that this doesn't go as long as the last one did 15 years ago, which was 100 days. We're on day 2. So we'll see what happens. We'll stay in touch with you, Mark. Thank you so much.